because I've done a lot of different trail races all over the place. And you can tell the difference of the ones where the people that started the race came into it because they love nature, they love the trails, they want to bring people out to the sport. And you can tell the races that were just started because this is a good way to make money. And there's a big difference. And you can feel the vibe at the race, and you definitely see it after the fact on how they respect the trails and how they treat people.
Okay, I think we are recording now. So, all right, hey y'all. I'm Chris Ange, the founder of LaFeet Running and race director of No Man's Land and the Feu Follet Trail Run. I'm here with Edie. She's the founder of Pie Running, and she's the RD for Loup Garou and previous Red Dirt Chicot Challenge. I think I said that right. I don't know if I missed anything. Yeah. But anyway, we wanted to think everybody's been seeing a little bit of the, hey, there's something new coming. And so we're starting that announcement today, and we're going to give a little bit of background about how it came up. But first, I kind of wanted to introduce Edie and myself and who we are and how we got into the trail running scene, especially in Louisiana. So I guess we've talked a lot, Edie, but what we've never really shared, I guess, our own histories of running. So this is actually going to be interesting and new to me. But how did you get into running and then trail running, ultra, and I guess just give me a brief story.
Yeah, well, man, like a lot of things in life, you kind of back into things. Not sure how you got there, wasn't on purpose. But I started running. I was actually teaching karate, and one of our karate students asked if I'd run a half marathon because they were training or run a marathon. I'm like, no, because at the time I ran enough just in training for karate. There was no way I was going to do that kind of distance. And they talked me into running a half marathon, and it was to fundraise. It was fundraising for cancer in the meantime. So I did that, and then I did a full marathon, and then you know how it happens. You kind of slide into things. I became the coach. And then once I did about 4 or 5 road marathons, I just got really tired of the road. I kind of like peace and quiet. I don't like all the noise and stuff with road races. So I ended up finding some guys that were running out at Chicot, and this was 2009, I think. And it was only guys. There were no women going out to run in the woods. It was only a bunch of dudes. So I started joining them, and just luckily they were all faster than me. So it made me stronger. So it worked out. But started that in 2009, ran my first 50 miler in 2010, my first 100 in 2011. And then, just kind of kept going from there.
Yeah. So is Chicot, I guess for you, is like, that's your home park, or that's really, is that the closest trails? And okay.
It is. It's the closest one. It's about 45 minutes. We have some local ones that are, if you want to do a whole lot of loops, but Chicot's just almost a 20-mile loop. So it makes it for a good train and run, especially if you're doing longer distances.
Yeah. So when you were going to Chicot, was there another race there? Did you start the Loup Garou? How did going from just being there to actually becoming a race director? What's the connection?
Yeah. Well, I was because I was a stay-at-home mom for about 10 years with my kids, and I started working in a running store part-time. And a guy comes into the running store, and he was from California, but his job had moved him here to Louisiana. And he said they wanted to start a race at Chicot State Park, and he knew somebody had told him that I ran out there regularly. So he wanted to know if I wanted to be a part of it. And it was Cajun Coyote. It was the guys that used to do Coyote Two Moon. They did a bunch of races out west. So we went out there. They wanted to put it on. I told them I'd take over an aid station for them. I did that for years. And then they wanted to transition out of the race because they were getting older and they didn't want to put it on anymore. And they came to me first and asked me if I wanted to take over Cajun Coyote. And at the time, it just wasn't a good time in my life. I knew I wouldn't be able to manage it. It'd be too much. So I told them no. And they handed it over to another local race director. I don't know how long he had it. He had it for a few years. We worked the aid station for a few years there. We continued with it. And that race just kind of fizzled. And we watched it because, Chicot was our home trail. So we'd go and work Cajun Coyote with a new race director. And then we'd go back 2 weeks later to just do a train and run. Trail markings would still be out there. There'd still be trash. There'd been no love given back to the park.
Yeah.
So we kind of watched. And as that race kind of started to fizzle, I just watched and gave it time to kind of, die its own natural death. And then we started Loup Garou.
Okay.
And to take its place.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you were when I kind of had heard of the Cajun Coyote, but it was before I got into trail running. So
Yeah.
whenever I got in, it was always a Loup Garou. And
Mhm.
I guess I didn't realize that you were helping out with one of those aid stations. And you hate to see a race fizzle, but I think part of, and maybe you can speak to this too, is part of what I see as a runner that's made the Loup Garou so successful is that love that you've put into it. And
Yeah.
you're not afraid to give the sweaty hugs at the end of the race.
Yeah.
And I know that y'all make sure to do trail work and pick up and sweep and all that. And I think that shows to the runners, and I think that that's what has made you so successful. And I think that uh yeah, there's some amount of legacy there that you're leaving.
Yeah. Well, and it's important. You can tell the difference because I've done a lot of different trail races all over the place. And you can tell the difference of the ones where the people that started the race came into it because they love nature, they love the trails, they want to bring people out to the sport. And you can tell the races that were just started because this is a good way to make money. And
Yeah.
there's a big difference. And you can feel the vibe at the race, and you definitely see it after the fact on how they respect the trails and how they treat people.
Yeah, I think that as a now that I've been a race director for a couple of years, that if you're doing it to make money, I could see it'd be pretty hard to be successful there. So I think most
Right.
people, at least in our neck of the woods, are doing it more out of love than for the money, and that's a good thing.
Right.
I think that you get those return runners and people that want to see these events happen and want to see the trails taken care of and events happen in the parks.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I guess then if you don't have anything else to share, then we can talk about my side and where I
Yeah.
came in.
Yeah, so just a kind of quick evolution of Loup Garou to kind of segue into that. So we started Loup Garou, and I think we probably got about year 7, I guess. And from Loup Garou from the beginning, we've had the same volunteers because if you've run it, you see the same people at every aid station.
Hmm.
It's been very consistent, and it's a big lift for these folks. They come out and they give their entire weekend. They're up all weekend. It's a lot of work. We give them all the supplies they need and stuff, but they bring the love and the personality. And by about year 7 or 8, everybody was getting a little tired, because these are
Hmm.
all model trail running friends from the beginning. So we're all getting older and everything's getting heavier, so we're just getting tired. And well, I told them, I said, y'all just hang in there until we get to 10 years, and then we'll make it a nice 10-year run and we'll close the race. That'll be it. And I had a few people approach me, other people, about actually buying the Loup Garou brand. And, it's not something I ever wanted to do because I kind of want to have a nice cap to it to where people can look back and say that was a really good race, and let somebody else start their own fresh thing. And, I got really lucky with when you guys came and started talking to us about it. I knew it'd be a good fit because I knew you're good people. You're actually trail runners. I knew you'd take care of things and take care of the runners as well. So, it just worked out really well. But now, so tell us, I'm curious, Chris, now, what made you decide that this is something you want to do? Because this is a big undertaking.
So so I guess I'll start with I got to go back to myself, but in 2019, I was kind of always a runner, but more that 10K was my max distance. I'd run 7, 8 miles in training before, but never really got into even a half marathon. And in 2019, my friend was running the Danimal, which was no longer happens, but it's a 50K in Lake Charles, and now that's kind of we've transitioned the Danimal to no man's land, and uh, he needed a pacer for the last 15 miles, so I got into it, and then I paced him, and I was gonna run no man's land at the time that you had it, and of course the hurricane hit, and I I think that this is part of how you were saying the love for the trails, and after the hurricane, Sam Houston Jones State Park took a while to come back up, and it
Yeah.
took a lot of maintenance and breaking new trails and getting back the old trails that we had. And so no man's land, you kind of couldn't have it. And then by that time that it was possible, you were kind of, I think, in that 7, 8 years of the Loup
Yeah.
Garou where you were saying you were trying to slowly transition out. So I had reached out and like something's got to happen at this park. It's too beautiful of a park. We need an event, and I really was doing it for the love of hey, we got to bring people out to the trails, right? It's not really about me and wanting to make a buck or whatever. It's about this is too beautiful of a thing that we have here and we need to share it with people. Um, so then I guess now, bringing me here since I've taken over No Man's Land is that Chicot State Park is kind of my second home trail away from home, that where my wife is from Ville Platte and all her family's still in Ville Platte. So we go there,
Cool.
maybe once a month, once every couple months, and I try and make a trail run when I can. And it feels like that's my second trail. So when you said that you were ending ending the Loup Garou, I was like, oh man, it's a similar kind of feeling. It's like this trail is too good to not have something. I kind of have built up some resources over the last few years of doing No Man's Land. I hope I can execute it to the way that you've done it, but now, we've come up with a new name, the Feu Follet. So we're rebranding. We're gonna try and keep it as if runners return from what was the Loup Garou to the Feu Follet, I want them to experience as much of what you had, that Southern hospitality and the charm and the love for what the trail is. And I don't want to change too much, and I want to live up to, I guess, your legacy, but at the same time, we're moving on, and it's going to be new and it's going to be different, and I don't want it to change and to, I guess I'm holding on to that, but at the same time, it's like, well, it's different people. It's
Cool.
just naturally has to be different. So
So it's going to take on the personality of the person putting it on. It should
yeah,
change.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm getting, is that I've learned a lot in the last couple of years, and I've been in touch with you and other local Louisiana race directors, and so I kind of know what the vibe is, and I feel like we have a good relationship of how to move this thing forward. Um, but yeah, so that's the plan, is we'll have December 2027 Beaufilet 100, 60 mile, 40 mile, 20 mile, Chicot State Park.
Perfect. Yeah, I love that. And you can see, obviously, I don't know, guys, anybody watching the video, you can see behind Chris all his different awards from Loup Garou. So he's done very, very well. I think you've won the 20 miler twice, the 60 miler twice, I think.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah, I've
right?
done the first year. Yeah, I've got some history. So my first year, I did the 40 miler. I took second, and since then, if I've showed up, I haven't lost. But I've done two 60 milers and two 20 milers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of love for that trail, which is awesome. And we're fortunate because the park, Chicot State Park, really loves the race. So I mean, they're excited. They've already been introduced to you guys, so they're really excited to have you on board as well. Because same thing, that you're there for the love of the trails, and you want to present an experience for people. So I think you're going in with the right heart.
yeah, I think just another touch on that too is it's a good point, because when I've talked to Stephanie, the park manager, that similar thing, the park manager at Sam Houston Jones, is her name is Tracy, and we have a really good working relationship with her, and so at Chico they were like, oh yeah, if y'all have worked with Tracy, she's my homegirl, you're not gonna have any problems. I'm like, okay, great. There's a lot of relief that comes with that knowing, hey, I've already kind of worked with the state park system. It's a new manager, it's a new place, but we're starting from a good foot, and I want to make sure that everything goes smoothly, and there's a good transition there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So when are you guys going to be able to reveal the logo?
So the plan is whenever you're watching this video, I'll have the logo revealed.
Nice,
So it's already been
nice.
done, and I'm really proud of it, that we've worked with. I'm living in Lake Charles, and we've worked with the graphic design department at McNeese, and his name is Tom. He's the department head of graphic design, but we worked with him and built a really cool, what I think, logo that represents the park and what the nature of the race is going to be. So if you don't know, the Faux Filet is a Cajun folklore, that it's kind of the will-o-wisp, the fire, off in the distance and in the swamp that kind of leads people into danger or down the trail or however you want to think about it like that. But that's the theme we're going for. Our logo has it obviously says Feu Follet on it, but it's got some cypress trees and some imagery of the Feu Follet itself and the bridges that make Chicot State Park so iconic. So it it's a really cool logo, and I'm really proud of what we did there.
Yeah, I love it that you're sticking with that theme too, because Chico is the most Cajun possible park scenery that you could possibly find. So I love that you're sticking with that, because I grew up hearing stories about the Feu Follet or Loup Garou, so this is all part of so big into our culture, so I'm really glad you're holding on to that too. I'm excited. I'm excited for your race. I'm excited to be a part of it. Just as a observer from the outside, I'm excited. So it'll be nice to get a full night's sleep for a change once you
Yeah.
take over.
Yeah, I think that'll be the interesting thing, right? Because No Man Lands is only a 50K, so we set up, and we're out there the day before and all, but we get a night's sleep, so
Yeah.
it'll be interesting taking over and being out there for whatever it is. I guess probably 48 hours is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think I get maybe about 2 hours of sleep in about a 40-hour period. So yeah, it's easier. It's literally easier to run a 100-miler yourself than actually put one on. So you'll
Oh,
see.
don't tell me that.
Yeah. Well, it's too late now. You're committed. So,
You're right.
but, well, anyway, well, thank you so much for doing this, Chris. And I'm excited for everybody to really kind of get to know you as well. And you'll have a presence at Loup Garou this year as well. So hopefully at Packet Pickup, you can hang around and people can kind of introduce themselves to you and get to know you a little better.
Yeah, that's the plan I mean, like I said, my in-laws live out there about 10 minutes from the park. So we always stay with them. So I'll have easy access. I plan on being out there at Packet Pickup and hanging out. And of course I'll be running. So I'll be there.
Awesome.
So,
Good
yeah,
deal.
thank you so much, Edie. And I can't wait to take over. I can't wait for this next step in the race director life. And hopefully we can build a big legacy.
Absolutely. I have no doubt. Thank you, guys.